Oz Clark, international beer and wine expert, came to Pilsen to discover the story of the beer that started it all, Pilsner Urquell.
In 1838, the burghers of the charming Bohemian town of Pilsen gathered in the town square and solemnly poured 36 barrels of beer down the drain. It was a protest, a revolt against the miserable quality of the beer being served in the town. Something had to be done, and it was. The good people of Pilsen set about digging 9 kilometers of cellars that would imitate the climate of an alpine cave. Joseph Groll, a brewing genius from Bavaria, discovered that a particular type of yeast loved these cold conditions and produced a long, slow fermentation which would change the undrinkable sludge into the world's first and finest golden beer.
Here are the temperatures and days.
Oh my God, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days.
It's still not finished.
Can I taste it?
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't have me in your brewery and not let me taste your beer like this.
See it. It's created a golden color.
Wow.
Try aroma.
God, it's still very malty.
Yeah.
Very sweet. And yet there's some
it's
kind
still
of...
not finished, a little bit sweeter than beer. What do you say?
Wow. God, oh, that bitterness still.
Yeah.
Oh, and now, really sweet. And I think I can still taste the yeast. Can I taste some yeast?
Yeah, of course. Václav, please. And see, here are the yeast.
Not a pretty sight, I'd say.
Compare it. Eh?
Well, I don't think I need to.
Mm. Pure aroma, bitter taste. Yeah, it's our gold.
You drink this, do you? What does it do to your stomach? I think you'll be in a state of eternal fermentation, you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, it smells really nice. Very bright and sort of...
And this is the yeast which changed the world.
This is the original yeast.
This is exactly the yeast which Joseph Groll bring to us 1842.
So this has been propagated again and again and again for 170 years.
Practically 170 years. Every week we start with fermentation from one cell, only one cell, and grow to this volume and to big tanks.
Well, that's exciting, to actually taste the original yeast. I can feel it starting to work at this very minute. Maturing a small amount of beer in the traditional wooden barrels allows Václav to keep a constant check on the quality and taste, and to compare it with the beer that's matured in stainless steel tanks elsewhere in the brewery. It's a great room. How many people were you expecting? It's clearly a task which he enjoys. I like the size of your tasting samples.
Now let me check the color first. See the golden color? And nice head above.
I can see all that.
Then we try aroma. A little bit hoppy, a little bit malty.
Quite malty, then.
Yeah. And
malty.
then we should taste it.
So we should.
Yeah. First trip, a little bit crispness. A little bit bitterness coming from Saaz hops.
That bitterness is tremendous.
Yeah.
Is the bitterness held in the foam a bit?
Yeah, and in few seconds it's well balanced with sweetness of this residual extract.
It is quite sweet, isn't it? So the more flavours left in the
Absolutely, this is the reason, because we don't the beer for alcohol, but for excellent taste. Here are balanced all these aromas and taste.
This thing they call lagering, the holding on to the beer, is that what gives you that extra flavour and character in the beer?
Absolutely true. You are right. We don't convert all sugars from malt to alcohol. We let it a little bit because it creates a body and fullness. And if you will drink Pilsner Urquell, you should bite it.
Bite it. So now you know. You don't drink Pilsner Urquell. You bite it. And to think I've been doing it wrong all these years. To make the finest beer, you need the finest ingredients. And here at the Pilsner Urquell brewery, deep in the heart of Bohemia, barley, water and hops are mixed together in a process that really hasn't changed for over 170 years. Václav Berka is the master brewer, and he offered to reveal some of the secrets behind the famous Pilsner beer.
Well, this is Czech barley. This is spring Turo barley, which comes from Moravia, from the region of Hana, and we use mostly these Czech varieties.
So this came in from the fields, and you covered it in water for how long?
It takes almost 7 days when I count germination and kilning.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, what always amazes me, that it seems that the best barleys taste of absolutely nothing. At least I would say that at least this is soft. Barley from the field is rock hard. You can't get your teeth into it. So the steeping has softened it. And then what's going to happen? You're going to germinate it?
Yeah, after steeping, the next step is germination, which takes 5 days.
And is that when, because this is very starchy, there's no flavour to it really.
That's true.
Is the germination, when it begins, the starch starts to turn to sugar?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Maybe we will test the final malt.
You got some malt with you?
Of course.
Can we do that?
Bring us a little bit malt
Sure.
and take a hops as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Try the malt. It's much better. It changed the color from dark beer. We changed to the golden Pilsner Urquell. And malt is one ingredient. Second ingredient is water. Water is very important because our water is very soft.
Yeah.
But third ingredient, what we have is hops.
Let me get ready for this.
Try the aroma. Typical for Saaz hops.
Why is Saaz different?
It gives to the beer not only bitterness, but fine aroma.
Because the aroma is citrus and floral and fruity all at the same time. But eventually you say, what does it smell like? You think it just smells like an absolutely wonderful hop.
And now we already know the brewing Pilsner Urquell is from 3 ingredients: water, malt, and hops. And everything is mixed in brewhouse. We will go to brewhouse.
I need to wash my mouth out with beer. I've just been eating a hop.
Most breweries use stainless steel kettles to heat up the hops, water and malted barley. But here, copper is king.
Copper is really important for brewing Pilsner Urquell because we are sure that exactly by meshing is create this golden color of Pilsner Urquell. On the wall of this kettle, there is create a little bit caramel. And this caramel gives to the beer this funny aroma.
This traditional copper here, this beautiful thing, would make the sort of mash infusion like this, and then would it also be used to boil up this sweet liquid with the hops? You'd throw them in the door there, and they would give bitterness and aroma. So this is, I mean, this is the basis of all your beer. And I can see that extra richness of malt there from, if that's the copper, well, fantastic.
Traditionally, the beer was fermented in wooden vats and matured in oak barrels. But today, it's slightly different. There's stainless steel everywhere, and all of it full of beer. But does it taste the same?
This is the reason why we continue in wooden vats and wooden barrels, and we compare daily taste of Pilsner Urquell. And I should guarantee that the taste is same because we only change the equipment, but process, ingredients, and heart of brewmaster is the same.
The heart of brewmaster seems to be the important point there.
Absolutely.
Because they have a good heart in there.
I see the beer, golden color.
Getting thirsty?
And we will try it. Aroma, look, and
drink.
Na zdraví.
Na zdraví.
Delicious.
Sounds good.
Stop talking for me, Václav. If I think it's delicious, I'll say so. Delicious. It is very good.
Do you feel the dry feeling in your mouth?
Yes, I do.
Please give us another
I was just going to say, the dry feeling in my mouth says, fill my glass up.
Your brain registered this reaction, and your hand will rise again, and you will try another sip.
Is this science or not?
No, this is drinkability, and Pilsner Urquell has the highest drinkability around the world.
This is Václav's theory of drinkability. Zdravím.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Right, that's the yeast, the barley and the hops sorted. But what about the water? The famous water. After all, beer is mostly water. I've been told that the water source is hidden outside the brewery and closely guarded. I wanted to check it out for myself.
Tak, teď jsme právě sestoupili do vrtu HV číslo 2 a pojďte ochutnat naši vodu.
How much of this do you produce?
Téhle z toho vrtu jsme schopni čerpat 14 litrů za sekundu.
1.1 million litres a day. And how deep's the well?
Téhle ten vrt je hluboký 85 metrů.
And how old is this water?
Téhle ta voda je hodně stará, doba mezi tím, co spadne v podobě deště na okolní krajinu a než se prosákne dolů a my ji teda vyčerpáme, tak to trvá stovky let.
100 years. So actually that's quite young and fresh. A beer like Pilsner Urquell, say, is about 92% water. So the water's important. And the water that the brewer ends up using is going to be some of the softest brewing water that there is. I mean, just by comparison, if you look at the kind of water that, say, the best English pale ales use, they've got about 40 times more mineral salts. And that's pretty hard. Pilsen, soft. Good. Well,
tak budeme pokračovat dál.
I think I'm ready for a Pilsen.
Traditionally, breweries used large wooden vats and barrels to make their beer. Most breweries have abandoned wood in favour of stainless steel, but here in Pilsen, deep in the heart of Bohemia, the ancient and often puzzling craft of barrel making still thrives. It takes years to learn how to handle the extraordinary range of archaic-looking implements that are needed to make the barrels. Draw knives, huge wooden mallets and broad axes, quarter hoops and rivets, and even something called a grandfather. All demand special skills that are handed down from father to son. The Pilsner Urquell brewery employs 7 barrel makers, and amongst the most experienced is Jiří Fiala.
Jdete se podívat, jaký děláme tady soud?
Is this Czech wood?
Ano,
Czech oak. And how long did it take to build this?
ten trvá měsíc.
How many of you did it take?
2 až 5, podle jak je třeba.
Oh, most important, of course, how much beer does it hold?
Vejde se do toho asi tak kolem 38 hektolitrů.
Nearly 8,000 pints. Well, I'll see what I can do. Now, George, what is that?
Je to dědek, je to na vytahování dužin. 25-litrový soudky.
Because I saw this and I thought, I wonder how they make the beautiful bend there. Of course, the grandfather.
Soudek na rákos.
To make a seal.
Kvůli těsnění,
I know what you're going to do.
aby nám to neteklo.
Of course.
Zasadí do drážky, háček vytáhnou nahoru.
It's one of the endless mysteries when commoners like me look at barrel makers. How do you get the lid in? That's how you get the lid in. Smell that. Oh, beautiful smell. I mean, I love the smell of fresh, good oak. But of course, quite right. In the wine world and in the whiskey world, you want that flavour, but not in beer. Now, of course, traditionally, they use pine resin pitch to coat the inside of the barrel.
Používáme pryskyřici. Se můžete podívat tady.
Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? That is a piece of pine resin. Now, you can just imagine that dripping out of a great big pine tree and then solidifying into this. Fantastic. So, I mean, that's a solid piece of pine resin. How do we... You must boil it up or what?
Musí se rozstavit v kotli, kde je venku, to vám můžu klidně ukázat.
Yep, well, let's go.
Můžeme ven. Pojďte, ukáži vám smolení 25-litrových soutků.
This is what I love seeing barrels being made, wherever I am, wine, whiskey, beer.
Tak, počkej, Karle, otočíme to. Radši kousek dál, takhle. Pojďme radši kousek dál, půjdeme. Můžeš nalivat.
What do you mean?
Praská. Praská smola. Dobrý, stačí. Vyndejeme to. Petře, vyndej to.
That's a massive amount of pitch you've shoved in there.
180 stupňů. A můžeme ho otáčet.
Okay.
No a teď by to chtělo už vystřelit. It's
Firework day. Great.
malou.
Pitch and the resin is just bit by bit coating the barrel.
Aby to
I
nesteklo.
want to do with that. Do this all day. All the stresses of the world gradually melt away. Well, this is the job for me. It suits my karma. You can think of so many things while you're doing this, and none of them will worry you very much. Politics, religion, war, nah. Just roll the barrel. Will my football team win? No. Do I care? No. Exhausting work. I needed to get back to the cellars for a couple more bites of Pilsner. And I'm going to meet Pavel Konas, a Pilsner Urquell taster, who invited me to join in an annual beer tasting, well, beer drinking really, attended by the master brewers, past and present. Right.
Hello.
Well,
It's slightly cold.
it's slightly cold, but that's your fault for working in such a cold brewery.
Yeah, it's cold.
A nice
brewery.
warm brewery, it would be no problem. But a cold brewery. Now, you're the taste man, aren't you?
Yes, I am the taste man in our brewery.
How many flavors can you recognize?
In every beer is around 1,000 flavors.
In every beer, there's 1,000 flavors.
But very good taster is able recognize 300.
But I thought you were going to say three. I thought, fine, I can do three.
But me around 60.
60? 60? I'm going to be saying, this is jolly nice beer. That's not good enough, is it? Let's look for a few flavour compounds.
Oh, okay.
So, okay, here we go. The first one here. We're all doing the first one. Naj.
Cheers.
Naj cheers.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound right. Naj cheers. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah. For first sniff, we can recognize the sulfuric compounds for short sniff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like CO2,
Yeah.
sulfitic. Yeah. And in second, we can recognize the hoppy aromas. Very, very nice, very gently hoppy aroma.
Because I'm getting things like, I'm saying, oh, it's a little bit like biscuits, or it's a little bit like sort of green leaves or something like that. I'm not...
Grassy.
Yeah, green leaves, grassy. Is that the hop thing coming through? Okay, well, that's two. I've got 58 to go.
And for a third long sniff, you can recognize the esters, slightly fruity aroma.
Fruity aroma, fruity esters. Long sniff coming up.
green apple.
Green apple. Ah, yes, green apple, but I'm getting the peel as well as the flesh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there is something just very, very slightly smoky about it as well. So there's a little bit of honey coming up now.
You are right, because there is strong caramel, and from caramel became honey flavor. Yeah?
But it's sort of creamy caramel, rather. It's not powerful caramel. It's creamy. It's sort of, if it's from dark brown to light brown, it's light brown.
Yeah, it's light brown.
Do you think it's about time I had some in my mouth? Or are you going to tell me there are 6 different ways of putting it in my mouth?
Let's go.
Well, I'm just wondering whether I'm going to do... You do it first and see what you do.
20 milliliters.
20 millilitres, Pavel.
20.
Very small mouthful for a chap who's been working all day.
Yeah.
All right, and then I swirl it around my mouth.
Yeah.
20 milliliters, swirl it around my mouth, and then spit it out.
And after that, you can feel a nice bitterness.
Yeah.
Caramel and malty.
Yep.
Like malty biscuit.
Well, that's about 52 more I've got to find. So we've got about 8 so far. Mm-hmm. Okay, here goes. 20 millilitres going straight in.
20 milliliters. Swallow around. Gently sharpness.
The bitterness is there immediately. What do I do next? Swallow it.
Yeah, and now put down. Yeah.
I seem to have waited quite a long time for that. What's interesting is that having spent so much time sort of chatting away, the bitterness was really quite powerful when I put it in my mouth, more powerful than I expected. And now I'm getting some of that sort of shortbread.
Characteristic for our beer is lower level of diacetyl. And diacetyl is very good for balance between bitterness, sweet, and body.
Yes, because that's the butter biscuit coming in.
Butter,
interesting. Now, that's Pavel, thank you very much for this technical term. Diacetyl is what I call shortbread biscuit.
Yeah.
So excellent. So next time somebody says diacetyl in the beer, I say, oh, yes, shortbread biscuit. Good, got it. We're now done, we've done 10 now, so we've only got 50 to find.
Pilsen's a lovely city, full of history, full of pubs. And Nap Parkanu is probably the most famous. So I hitched a ride on the horse and cart that delivers their beer. And speaking of history...
By the 13th century, the town of Pilsen was making itself quite a reputation for its beer. In fact, 1/3 of its barley was being turned into beer, not bread. Actually, barley makes better beer than bread in any case. The local king, Wenceslas, he tried the beer, he liked it. So in 1295, he granted the right to brew to 258 families. That was just about everybody. So Pilsen has been famous for beer for over 700 years. But what makes the town of Pilsen particularly important is that in 1842, it invented an entirely new form of beer, which became so popular that imitation Pilsners now account for over 90% of the beers brewed worldwide.
But they're not true Pilsners. Only beer brewed in the town of Pilsen can claim that title. And everyone seems to get along famously when they have a glass of the golden beer in their hand. I can't wait to join them. But first, I have some work to do.
There.
There, very good.
This is thirsty work.
Ja, det är där kisut.
Sure.
But at least I'm in the right place to get a drink. Luckily, I met Martin, bartender at Nap Parkanu.
Oh, please, thank you. Hey, are you Martin?
Yes, please.
You are the bloke who's going to give me a cold beer.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you the best beer in the bar.
Hey, nice bar. Right. Oh, I tell you what.
Yes.
I'm in Pilsen. Can I pour my own Pilsner?
Of course, sir. Just
Can
get
I
it.
come round? Yes. Brilliant. You're going to be impressed.
Oh no.
Look at that. The fastest pint.
No.
Have you ever seen a Pilsner pour? Okay, all right. Don't worry.
Cold milk.
It'll improve. As you can see, it's already going up like that. It's going up like that. Let me just...
Now I'm gonna show you how step by step.
Hey, let me try it. Let me try my pour. Well, the froth tastes very nice anyway. All right, you show me.
If you want to have a good beer, you have to make correct all steps. First step is to keep the beer in 7 degrees.
Yeah.
Second step, the glass must be clean. If you don't have this one here, the foam, it means the glass wasn't clean. So now I know the glass was clean because the foam stands here. And then we pour on 45 degrees. Just for
Only
2 seconds. Only to the half. I put the foam and then I put the beer.
I see. By doing it that way, you get the right amount of foam.
Yeah.
And in the Czech Republic, that's the right amount of foam.
No, this is a style of the Pilsner Urquell.
Yeah. Well, let me try this. Sorry, just getting all the foam off my lips.
Yeah.
Rather good. Rather good, Martin. After a quick lesson with Martin, I met international master bartender Lucas Svoboda.
Welcome, my bar.
Thank you very much. Now look, what's this thing about the 4 pours?
We have one brand, Pilsner Urquell, and 4 ways how to tap beer. The first is Choktan. This is the first way how to tap Pilsner Urquell. Second is Schnitt.
Schnitt?
Maybe slice in English.
I'm not going to ask for a glass of Schnitt. What does it mean in English?
Slice.
Slice?
This is slice. A small beer in big glass because Czech people, Czech men don't like small glass.
Well, you certainly wouldn't catch me sort of saying I must have a Schnitt.
Another is hladinka.
So is that the traditional way?
Yeah. And last one, it's milk. It's only foam.
Right. Okay, I'll try it, but...
Please try all.
I mean, it's going to be like a sort of mouthful of candy floss.
No
well,
good?
Yeah, I know, I'm amazed. It actually is very good. I thought it was just going to be all foaming and bubbling up in my mouth. It's very creamy.
Very creamy.
And what I like is you just get that hop bitterness coming up as well on the foam.
Exactly.
Very good.
I recommended this.
Ah, looks nice and flat for a nice English boy like me.
Home sweet home.
Home sweet home. Because the carbon dioxide, the bubble, is in the beer. And it all is breaking all over my tongue. And it's fuller. And the whole thing is a much rounder, richer, fuller flavour in your mouth. Plus lots and lots of carbon dioxide. Neither of these two look promising, but I think they're both extremely good, and they're completely different. Completely different. Now, this is the normal one, isn't it?
This is normal. This is hladinka.
Okay, so this has got the foam on the top.
Yeah.
This is how you'd normally get it in a Czech pub.
Yeah, half liters.
That foam is creamier.
Yeah.
Why?
Because the milk has only 45% CO2 and Choktan has 100%. This is different.
That's why this one prickles on your tongue.
Yeah.
Because all the CO2 is in the beer. Got it.
Taste this. It's Schnitt.
Is it actually going to taste different or not?
Yeah.
It is. This is for the people who don't want to be seen with a small glass. Right. Actually, it smells quite hoppy.
What is best?
I think I prefer this one.
Chocolate.
I know it's so predictable as an English guy, but I just think the flavour is really tremendous in this, and the carbon dioxide on my mouth really prickles in my mouth. So this is the one for me. What about you?
For me, it's Schnitt.
Oh, Schnitt. Yeah. It's only half a glass.
Yeah, I like small beer. But in big glass. Cheers.
Cheers. I've discovered my own way of pouring beer. I've learned how to bite it. But most importantly, I've met the wonderful people behind the taste of the world's first golden beer.